Everybody, and welcome back to the Kent State Student Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to dive into a very intriguing question. Should the age of legal adulthood be reconsidered in light of what we now know about brain development? For years, turning 18 has been the milestone that marks the start of adult responsibilities. But recent neuroscience suggests that the brain continues to develop well into the mid-20s. In this episode, we'll explore what it could mean if the age of adulthood were adjusted to reflect these findings. Could such a shift reduce impulsive behavior, support better decision making, and give young people the extra time they need to prepare for their adult life? Stick with us as we hear from students around the campus as they discuss the potential implications, hear from some experts along the way, and consider how these changes could influence us as students. Let's get into it.
The U.S. has made significant progress in shrinking the gender gap since the 20th century, but there are still many factors that set men and women apart, including the transition to adulthood. Typically, in history, men and women have seen different social roles, family roles, and workplace roles, but in the past century, that has been changing for women. Currently, women have just as many opportunities as men in education, and they tend to occupy some of the same jobs that men do. The transition into adulthood tends to begin earlier in women than it does for men. In the past couple decades, the age of puberty has significantly decreased. Most women start puberty around the age of 10 to 12, and men are closer to 12 to 14. In the past, women were expected to get married and have children earlier in life, and now that age has significantly increased up to mid to late 20s. Women are more likely to finish post-secondary, receive a degree, and get a well-paying job than they were in the past. Although women are able to handle this transition into adulthood, they often lack the social and cognitive aspects of adulthood because your brain doesn't fully mature until the age of 20 and 21. Since women lack the social process until later in life and they mature physically a lot younger, it would be best to increase the age of maturity to 21 to help women fully psychologically develop before taking on roles like becoming a mother or... The transition to adulthood for men often takes longer than it does for women. They continue to mature both physically and socially into their late 20s. Most women stop growing by the age of 15, but men can continue to grow until 20, 21. For women, their brain fully develops around the age of 30. In men, it can take almost 25 years for their brain to fully develop. While women typically associate adulthood with having children and getting married, men often see adulthood as finding financial success. Women often take on more roles than men do when transitioning to adulthood. Many continue their post-secondary education with children while getting married, while men are more likely to finish their entire education before having children. On average, 68 to 67% of women graduate college, and only 60 to 61% of men graduate college. This statistic is important because many students start college around the age of 19 and continue until their early 20s. But since your brain does not start fully developing until you're 25, that can often impact men's want to withdraw from college. By changing the age of maturity to 21, that would allow men to adapt into society longer and gain more maturity, all over making their adulthood more stable. While many of the statistics point to women maturing faster, that doesn't mean that they are ready to take on the roles of adulthood. Both men and women rely on their parents both financially and socially into their early 20s. Because of this lack of cognitive thinking, many students go into college without having a decided major, or they will change their major partway through college. By raising the age of maturity to 21, both men and women would have more time to mature socially, cognitively, and emotionally. By doing so, there would be an increase in cognitive thinking decisions. By increasing the age of maturity to 21, women would have more time to figure out their life plans and decide what they want to do post college, instead of in the past being forced into socially, family, motherly roles at the early age of 18. Men would benefit from the increase of adulthood to 21 because it would allow them to mature more and also figure out their life plans before taking on financial responsibility so early in their life. Overall, I think it's important that we increase the age of maturity to 21 because it would allow both men and women to find their footing in the world while having support from their families all throughout college, leading to a better, more productive, and stable society.
Hey guys, as you all know, today we're here to talk about whether the legal age should be changed or whether it should stay the same. My name is Rachel, and I'm a current junior in high school, and coming from my personal experience, I believe that the legal age should be changed to 21 for a couple of different reasons, some being beneficial to some and others making things a little bit more challenging. So as I stated in my article, you're fresh out of high school when you turn 18 and you're trying to plan your life out. And a lot of things and people will change along the way, and you might not know what you want to do following your future career path, or even if you want to go to college, enlist in the military, anything like that. And by taking the legal age up to 21, I feel as though it would make it so that you're not wasting the last few years of your childhood on just things that you don't need to be stressing out. You have your whole life ahead of you to decide what you want to do and who you want to become. And I feel as though we should be taking these years from 18 to 21 and honestly learning financial responsibility, both for males and for females. I've done a lot of research on this topic, and it's shown that people tend to learn a lot of financial responsibility and lifelong skills when it comes to choosing and finding that career path that they like. So, by doing this, and changing the legal age to something a little bit higher up, it would honestly give us a better boost as an economy, sorry, and generally as people to learn these goals and honestly how they affect us. Because once you get older, whether you want to admit it or not, we all know that we have to pay house payments, car insurances, and just other things like that in general in order to survive, especially in the United States. So by doing this, I feel as though it would honestly better our future opportunities and make us better people by learning these financial responsibilities and things at such a young age. And honestly, learning about this topic has really made me question why it was never changed in the first place. At 18, you get some freedom, but at 21 is when really all your freedom starts and finishes. So I genuinely think that they should change it to the legal age of 21. I really hope you guys enjoyed my little opinion on this part of the interview, and I hope you guys have a great day.
Agree more with that. And we just want to go ahead and just thank everybody that we heard from today. And, as we wrap up today's episode, just want to go ahead and take a look back and reflect on some things that really caught my attention when I was listening to this. So, the first thing that I took note of was when changing the age of adulthood, this shift could create a legal system that aligns more closely with cognitive development, reducing impulsive behavior in teens, and delaying adult responsibilities until they're better suited to handle them. And what's not to like there? And another thing I took note of was this extra time would allow young adults to gain essential life skills like financial literacy and career readiness, preparing them for a more confident entry into adult life. Schools and communities could use this period to provide targeted programs that even teach teenagers how to manage social, emotional, and financial challenges, leading to a smoother, more supported transition. And ultimately, this change would be a step towards prioritizing the well being of future generations, helping them reach their full potential and face life's complexities with competence and resilience. So, thank you guys, and we'll see you guys next week for when we tune in some more issues that affect teenagers.